All right, I coded Rainbow Six Siege in Minecraft.
This is Rainbow Six Siege's most beloved map, and it doesn't exist anymore.
Before it got reworked,
you see,
yes,
over
literally.
5 years ago now,
One of the greatest maps of all time.
permanently removed it from the game. And since then, players like you and I have been begging for just one thing. The chance to play on it one last time.
Yo, this looks
so
crazy.
I've done what they
the hell?
couldn't. I've brought it back from the dead, rebuilding it inside of Minecraft, and I even made it fully playable.
Bro,
in
no,
order to
this looks
restore it to its
insane.
former
No,
glory
boys,
as
be
the
entirely
game
honest, bro. Siege Minecraft's drops. Should we do some games with the Discord, bro? I'm not gonna lie, this looks like cinema. I 100% would do this.
game's #1 map. But that's not all, because I've got 3 other things lined up that I think this project has been needing for a while now, and some of them go really well with Old House. But we'll cross those bridges when we come to them. For now, I gotta figure out how to get my hands on this map, because Ubisoft hadn't just removed it, they'd replaced it entirely.
Which is
meaning
crazy,
that every
bro.
source, every blueprint, every article, they all showed the reworked version and not the old one. Well, most of the sources anyway. Because after
Only
I did
OGs
some
know the
digging,
old
I
one, bro.
found an old site that had been
These
all
are brought
but
it back to
abandoned,
R6
but it
mobile, by
just
the way,
so
and multiplayer,
happened to
that's the
have
same.
almost everything we needed.
So you're telling me they brought the original house back to Siege Mobile? I did not mean to press that button. They brought it back to Siege Mobile, bro, not main Siege, bro. Are we dead ass, bro? It's just like, bro, so many maps in this game never needed to get reworked in the first place. Like, why do we reworking the maps? Ubisoft could have been making new maps, but instead they remastered every single old map for absolutely no reason.
Blueprints, camera placements, site locations, the whole 9 yards. So I saved what I could and moved on. Because honestly, I didn't know how long that site would be up for.
11 on mobile?
Next, I
Bro,
started
oh my
searching
God, so
for an area
Siege
to
Mobile is
build
just
it
better than regular
in-game.
Siege.
If you didn't know, all of my maps are built in the exact same world. But for this one, I settled on an island just off the coast, right by Oregon and coastline. I know in Siege it's not on an island, but it's by a lake, so same difference. And I just had a vision that it would look good here, and let me say, I was not wrong. Anyway, once I settled on the island, I used the blueprint images from the site along with a grid I made in Photoshop to build the layouts for the 3 separate floors. I color-coded them red, yellow, and orange, and stacked them on top of each other to get a rough view for how the building would look from the outside. And I also made sure to line up all the staircases and hatches because, well, we don't want a repeat of Oregon, do we?
I play Siege on mobile?
But after that was done, I was a...
Should we do Siege Mobile? I'm gonna be honest, bro. I haven't played Siege in a long time, though. It's been intentional. I haven't played Siege over a year on purpose. We're done with Siege, bro, respectfully. But I am curious on Siege Mobile. I would be curious to see what that's like. But like regular Siege, I'm good, bro.
Little scared to move forward, to be honest, because my usual method of just flying around in game and detailing accordingly wasn't gonna work here, so I was gonna have to find a different way to do things. My first instinct was to revisit the things I'd saved from the site I found earlier, and these images were actually way more useful than I initially thought.
Well, if I'm gonna play it, I'm gonna see it when I get in.
They were pictures
you can if you want to in the
every
Discord.
single camera location. And while these were great on their own, and I could use these later when placing the cameras down, what I really cared about was everything around them. Ignoring the cameras completely,
be honest,
these
how long
screenshots gave me some of the...
Y'all think it took bro to do this, bro? Because this has to be mad time, bro. I can tell y'all from experience, bro, of doing a little bit of stuff in Minecraft, bro, it is a process, bro. The only thing I have not done is coding, bro. You got it. You got it, bro. You got it.
The best views
Coding
of the interior so far. And I think my map knowledge was good enough to know where each of these photos were taken
The most I've
from.
done is a mod pack.
So I got to work building, starting with the interior. I built up the main foyer, entrance, and kitchen, but there were a few decisions here that I had to make, and one of them would change the course of the entire build.
This is crazy.
Most of the house uses
I like how you
this
built
wall
the
design,
other one too.
red at the
Bro.
top with a white skirting board at the bottom. And this is my interpretation of the design inside
I never
of
thought
Minecraft.
I'd see the day where Minecraft content would collab with Siege, bro. From the amount of games that people do Minecraft content, I never thought in my days that Siege would be on that list, bro.
With stripped mangrove logs and bone blocks. But there's just one issue. For a while now, I've been using a mod called Slabby that adds vertical slabs. This allows me to make the double layered walls seen on every map since Coastline. But Slabby has one fundamental flaw. You can't rotate the textures on said slabs. Which doesn't sound too bad until you start using, you guessed it, bone blocks or logs.
That's crazy.
And while I could use another block like quartz, it just doesn't look right with the mangrove. So for a while now, I'd been daydreaming about a mod, just like the framed blocks mod. One with complete creative freedom that lets me put blocks in any shape I want. And it just so happened that an alternative had just been updated, reframed. And upon testing it out, it seemed to fix almost everything. I could make any slab that I wanted. I could make any stair that I wanted. I could put both of them vertically. And I could even put barriers in them and make them any shape in the entire game.
Literally.
This was going to be a huge game changer, except it did have a few issues that I ended up discovering. And we couldn't fully get rid of Slabby yet. But for now, it was all sunshine and rainbows. Well, kind of. By this point, I'd exhausted the photos of the cameras.
I already looked into the answer. Is there people that is booting up Siege on mobile and using a controller? I feel like I already know the answer, bro. I literally feel like I already know the answer. Are there people that are booting up Siege on mobile and they're using controllers? Be so for real. But I feel like I truly already know the answer.
They only showed a few select areas of the house, and some of them weren't even in full color.
Exactly, bro.
So after I got those areas looking good, I had to move on. I started searching for anything I could. Old walkthroughs, screenshots, just anything that would help me get a feel for what old house used to be.
That's literally just as bad as using mouse and keyboard on console, bro. Like, god damn, bro. Like, if you're on mobile, bro, use mobile. Use mobile. Like, I feel like if you're gonna do that, separate the lobbies. If someone's on mobile and uses a controller, put them into the lobbies with other people that's using a controller as well. But I know that's not the case, because for the longest time, Ubisoft just now made it actually bannable to be using mouse and keyboard on console, bro. Which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life, bro. The game has been out for so many years. I left the game before they made it bannable, bro.
And the walkthrough videos in particular proved to be incredibly valuable, as there were some things mentioned and shown that I, and I'm sure you, had completely forgotten about. So here's a quick little history lesson. Old House had some very interesting mechanics that you don't really see anywhere else in Siege, and especially not modern Siege. Like, nearly every wall in the house is the exact same texture, regardless of whether it's soft or not. Nowadays, it's pretty easy to tell if it can be destroyed. Normally, it'll just look like wood, which is why up until now, I just use basic logs for the soft walls in my remake. But we'll get back to that in a second. Because this window above main door is, as far as I know, a one of a kind. It's about the size of a double window, but it cannot be barricaded and cannot be vaulted through.
Bro,
it can still be shot through though, which I'm sure made for some—
If you know, you know, bro. If you know, you know. My god. Playing Siege for the first time and getting spawn peeked to this goddamn window, bro. Y'all do not understand, bro. This is what makes boys men, bro. This is when you realize this game is not sweet, bro. This isn't just your average game you're gonna hop on and it's gonna be— Did my recording just stop? My recording just stopped. Nice. I'm gonna just take it from the VOD. It's fine. This is where boys become men, bro, because you realize this game is not sweet. When you get hit with your first bullet hole spawn peek, bullet hole, not melee hole, bullet hole spawn peek in this game, bro, you realize this game is not sweet. This isn't your Call of Duty. This isn't your Battlefield. This isn't your Halo. This is one of those games you just hop on and you just play it and you can just immediately start frying people, bro. No, bro. You get cooked instantly for mad long before you actually get used to the game, bro. And this window was one of the windows that I was getting fried with, bro.
Very interesting attack up.
A lot of y'all will never even know what that's like
that can be shot through
because of the rework.
Metal soft walls actually exist. This is one that I vaguely remember, but sometimes if you'd shoot through a soft wall, you'd be met with metal studs instead of wooden ones, meaning that you couldn't go through it, just shoot through it. And in order to stay true to old Siege, those are all things that I will of course be implementing just after I finish the build.
Tell me if y'all agree with this. You know what we need, bro? We need old Siege on old servers back, bro. Like an official client to boot up old Siege with old servers that everyone can play together. That's what we need, bro. Because if y'all haven't been tapped in, people have done that with the original Modern Warfare games, like Modern Warfare 1 through 3. And people, I'm pretty sure Treyarch, Activision, Sledgehammer, whoever the hell makes the Modern Warfare games, they took it down because they didn't fuck with it. But it's like GTA RP, where like you can make a modded version of the game to be able to play the old game, Imagine if old Siege were to come back, bro. The amount of players that would come back to Siege, bro. If they officially released, or someone officially made like a client to play old Siege and the servers were live that you can actually play with multiplayer, bro, that shit would be absolute cinema, bro. It really would be.
It's actually looking pretty good so far. Well, the interior was anyway.
That would bring so many people back to the game, bro.
And start work on the exterior. Except this is
No
where
one
my
wants new Siege,
sources
bro.
started to dry up, as most of them just focused on the interior. Though I did manage to get the front yard, backyard, and texturing on the building done, which ended up looking great. But there were a few spots that were almost never shown at all, like the construction site and the docks, which were both very important parts of the map, being possible attacker spawn locations, which meant that I had a choice to make. I could either guess how they looked based on the limited footage I did have, which probably wasn't the best idea and would risk the accuracy of the map, or I could use the reworked version as a reference. Now wait, before you flood the comments, from what I'd gathered, everything beyond the road had been barely touched in the rework.
So you're saying all,
most of the changes were in and around the main house itself. So realistically, the docks and construction site would still be pretty close to the original, which is why that's the option I went with. And once I got in game, it was kind of freeing being able to fly around and look at every detail the way I used to. And I spent some of the time just seeing what had changed, because by this point I'd become pretty accustomed to the old version of the map. And it was interesting seeing some of the differences.
But we
did have some people like, so I stopped.
People love to say that it's like the nostalgia factor is why you like it, bro. Old Siege is better, bro. Simple as that. It ain't no goddamn nostalgia factor. And that's the same thing for Fortnite too, bro. Old Fortnite was a movie, bro. Old Fortnite was a movie, just like Old Siege. It's not the nostalgia factor is the reason why it's good. Old Siege had so many features that got removed in the current game. I have heard that recently they've brought back a lot of changes that were removed, like cooking grenades and stuff like that. Shit that should have never been removed in the first place, because Ubisoft just loves making changes no one asked for. Bro, Old Siege had so many of the changes that we're getting now, the W changes we're getting now, that already existed in the game long time ago, bro. And it's actually so crazy.
Seeing and started work on the biggest of the two,
last someone who played Old Siege so much, new house feels weird, bro. Yes, bro. Like
pretty big. It could almost be its own build.
The old maps are just better, bro. There's no point of changing them, bro. Like them reworking house, literally, no one asked for that. No one asked for that. So we did not need to do it. Like I said, Ubisoft loves making changes no one asked for, bro. That's why I hung the game up. I haven't played the game in a year, bro.
But that didn't stop me from getting it done.
My life expectancy has increased by 35 years after quitting Siege, bro.
Fast, along with the docks that were done even faster. And after that, I just took a step back, because even though they weren't the original parts of the map, it didn't matter, because they really started tying it together, and the build was looking exactly like Old House. And we were on the final stretch now. All that was left to do was to position it on the island, texture the ground, and add trees. But I didn't do that quite yet, because I still had some unfinished business inside.
Best of the game, literally, bro.
Remember those unique features I have to add?
What the hell?
As I mentioned earlier, the walls here are very unique, so I was going to have to develop an entirely new software system to accompany them, while still letting it play nice with my old system. And while I'm at it, I think it was a good time to introduce double-layered soft walls, something I'd avoided until now because of their complexity, but the accuracy stakes were higher than...
You know, it's so crazy, because so many people don't even know that Clubhouse got reworked. So many people don't even know that Clubhouse got reworked. I'm gonna be honest, Clubhouse rework was perfectly fine. It really was. Because connecting the top floor actually was a movie, bro. Connecting the top floor was actually a top tier decision. Fuck. But house was absolutely pointless, bro. Deadass.
Ever this time. And I think the best way to do that is to make use of Minecraft structures.
Because the thing about Clubhouse is Clubhouse was... Well, no, Clubhouse did get changed. But House... No, actually, how much did Clubhouse actually change? I can't remember the original Clubhouse. Was it a crazy amount? I don't think it got changed. No, it did. Damn, I can't remember now. I actually can't remember the original Clubhouse, bro. It's been so long.
because as
Was it a
currently
drastic
stood,
change? I know the upstairs got connected. I know that for a fact.
the system was completely static,
From the game, and the
spawning
border
a
barely
solid
changed anything?
wall of the same block using a simple fill command.
Border guy
But
reworked?
using
I can't even remember
structures,
that, bro.
I could save each wall as its own structure instead of using the fill commands. So I copied every soft wall I'd made and brought them outside. I then grouped the duplicates and put a marker inside of every
What
block
the
to
hell?
handle their soft wall logic. I labeled the metal ones, exported them as
This is insane,
structures,
bro.
and
If-
shoved
for the
them in
people
the
that can
data
code
pack.
and code
I could
properly,
then use the
especially in
regular
Minecraft, bro, I
spawning
give it
and
to them, bro.
destruction systems
'Cause
I'd
this does not look
already
easy at all.
made and have it place
It
the
really doesn't.
corresponding structure instead of the wall of blocks. And as for metal walls, it was as simple as replacing any of the broken blocks with iron bars, as a new update to the gun mod I'm using allows you to just shoot through them. Though in addition to soft
That's actually
walls,
top
I
tier.
figured there was one room in the house that needed some extra love and care. The kid's bedroom. The most iconic room on the whole map, and its most iconic feature is obviously the bed. So I whipped up a custom model for the bed in Blockbench. And while
There is one main reason why everyone knows the kid's bedroom, bro. Even if you do not play Siege, there is one reason why everyone knows the kid's bedroom, bro. Siege. Siege breach meme. This right here is why everyone knows what the kid's bedroom is. Ball knowledge. What the hell? How to get what the hell? Okay. What version did I press on, bro? I ain't never seen this version before. What am I looking at right now? God damn! That's why. That's why everyone knows what kid's bedroom is, bro. Respectfully.
I was at it, I made one for the skull banner above it too.
Free V-Bucks
I
is
then made
absolutely
them
crazy.
items with my custom mod, brought them in game,
That meme was one of
and
the- bro,
turned them
Siege
into
was so good,
item
bro.
displays, so I
That
had
meme was one of the
full
most known
control
memes
over
back
where
then,
they
100%.
go. But while I was in here, I realized there was something else that could do with a change. We'll get to that in a minute though. For now, the map needed some lighting. And I think I know exactly what kind. You see, Old House isn't the only thing Ubisoft has taken away from us.
Everything.
Just 1 year before, they'd removed night maps as well.
Oh my
so I
God,
thought,
bro.
why
We
not
need
bring
old
them
Siege,
back
bro.
too? And not just on
Old
House.
Recruits too, bro.
They'll
Old
work on
Recruits is
every
actually
map.
crazy.
But why would they get rid of them in the first place? I mean, reworking House, I get. It was small and
There's
cramped,
no
but
literally.
night maps just
There's no reason, bro. Ubisoft just be doing shit for no reason.
seemed like a net positive. Each map had a bit more variety and they were kinda scary to play on. You never knew who was lurking around each corner. Well, from what I gathered, those are the exact reasons they were actually removed. The night maps doubled the game's file size, and the inconsistent lighting made the game feel unfair, especially for attackers on
Bro.
the outside that were peeking in. And
You
for
could've just
competitive
changed the
games,
lighting,
they
bro.
didn't want anyone to have an unfair advantage.
You could have just changed the lighting for the outside. That's all you had to do, bro. The night maps still look better. You could have literally just changed the lighting. It would have took no effort to do that.
But my remake is more like a custom game, so I think players should definitely have the choice. And luckily, Minecraft's existing day-night cycle means we won't double the game's file size in doing so. And you know what? I think the day-night cycle
Are you telling me
means
you
we
can play this
take it a
now?
step
Are you able to play
further.
this right now?
How about full control of the sky? Dusk, dawn, night, midnight, midday,
Bro, this looks
anything
like-
in between.
this looks
and
like
because
cinema,
all
bro.
the maps are in the same world, like I said, it works seamlessly with them as well. But you know what isn't seamless?
And Barley
The
University with
performance.
T-Hunt? Bro.
In the past, I've recommended
There's
using
just so many
mods like
things
E4MC
they have
and the
removed,
Essential
bro.
mod to host the mod pack to play with your friends. And while these do technically work, they're not the fastest things in the world, which is why I've partnered with Bisect Hosting, which is
Okay.
what I actually use now.
You
And
got
while
it,
they
bro.
do offer servers all around the world, including in Australia,
W ad, bro.
I
W ad, bro.
intentionally
W
put
ad, bro.
mine in
W
the
ad, bro.
US,
W ad, bro. W ad, bro.
expanding on the atmosphere. What if there is something lurking behind every corner? Which is why, in
hell?
record-breaking time, just 4 months after his release, I'm gonna be reworking Sledge. Because nothing screams old Siege like a good old-fashioned
added
game
Sledge?
of Sledge Myers. And as he currently stands, I don't think my version of Sledge would be very good with Sledge mines.
That's crazy.
Especially because he currently doesn't damage people. So, let's fix that. And
what the hell?
We could probably do better than a basic mace for that model too. So I started working on one inside of Blockbench. But then I got what would end up being a really bad idea. But it's also kind of good. The gun mod that I'm using has very detailed animation.
The AC wasn't doing a goddamn thing. I just now realized.
So what if we gave Sledge just as detailed animations to keep them in line with each other?
This looks insane,
How hard could it be? Very hard.
Like I said, bro,
the making of the animations was pretty easy, and I enjoyed that quite a bit. It was getting them in game that caused me the issues. You see, in my last video, I jumped right into the deep end of Minecraft modding, and now I was feeling the effects of it, because I had no idea what I was doing. You see, I needed to use a library called GeckoLib to make and animate the item. This was no huge problem, and I made some pretty good first-person animations with it.
That looks one-to-one. Like, that actually looks one-to-one.
Another library called Player Animation Lib, or PAL. See, for how great GeckoLib is, it can't animate players, and that's where PAL comes in. I was gonna need to use it to make the third-person animations. And for the most part, these two mods are pretty similar in how they read and register animations, but they're just different enough for me to get completely lost and tangled while working on them in parallel. Which was only worsened when I realized that PAL has very little documentation. Most of it was just telling me how to port from another mod,
Literal absolute hell is what it took for him to make this, bro.
Really help me. So I was going to need to figure it out
just to make an animation of
going off
walking with
context clues and other people's questions in the Discord, because I'll be damned if I ask for help myself. But after a lot of trial and error and some very weird glitches, I managed to push through it and come out on the other side with some pretty solid animations, if I do say so myself. Now, how do I want the thing to work? Well, it should still function with my existing data pack logic and break soft walls just as the other one did, just with the added bonus of damaging people as well. But I don't want them to just hit the other players. That's boring and would require two separate inputs. Instead, I'll have them hold down right click and let go for both inputs, just like bows or more recently, spears. But how do I signal this to the player? Well, what if we just remove left clicking entirely?
VR Siege, normal Siege,
sounds
now
good to me. Is this perfect?
Look, I got recommended really, this, so we're watching it.
It's not how Mojang would make like a movie, though. But good thing we're 100%. Not Mojang.
I'm down to play this.
This part has been feature-packed, I know, but I do have one last trick up my sleeve that I'm sure you'll love. Because I think the tight holes of house and the reworked sledge call for the implementation of my most requested feature.
He's literally making the game one for one. Like, this is actually so crazy.
It's a crime that I hadn't added until now, because you know Siege isn't itself without it. But the truth is, this one had caused me some issues. There were already some mods that added leaning that I was aware of months ago.
Are you able to play this, or is this still in the works? Because it looks like he's made mad videos on this. Because if this is playable, boys, we're 100% doing this, bro. I am definitely down to do Minecraft Siege, bro.
They're all outdated. That would actually be a movie.
Everything but regular Siege. I'm about to be playing everything but normal Siege, bro. I said I'm down to do mobile Siege, and I'm done Roblox Siege, and now I'm finna be hopping to Minecraft Siege, bro. Everything is better than the regular game, bro. Like, that is so diabolical. When have you ever played, preferably, the bootleg version of a game and it's better, bro? Yes, it's playable. Oh, say less. Boys, 1000%, I'm gonna figure this out. We have to do this, bro.
So I am
100% down to play this on stream with you boys.
As soon as I figure out how to. I started by trying to get it to work with mixins.
Okay, well, I'll see like how playable it is, because, bro, this is insane. So when he fully releases it, is it gonna be like a public server? Because that would be crazy.
Basically modifying Vanilla's code to get my eyes to move left or right when a key is pressed. And that worked. Kind of. It only applied client side and in first person, meaning while I could see around the corner, I couldn't actually shoot around it. So that wasn't really gonna work. And then I tried fixing this with even more mix.
Does this say we're still streaming Gorn? Does it say we're still on Gorn? Because my category says Gorn from my POV. Did it not
that
change?
Offset the player's position and hitbox so the client-side system was accurate, but for the life of me, I couldn't get that to work either. I'd somehow managed to overcomplicate everything and ended up back at square one. So I think it's time to do something I should have done from the beginning. Let's have a look at how the other mods do it. And... oh. They just teleport the player. Well, not really, it's not that simple. They actually apply motion, which is something I know a lot about. So I could implement this pretty easily. It was so easy that I could have done it with data packs if I wanted to.
What was I just looking at?
But in all fairness, it worked, and it worked well. It doesn't translate that well to video because it looks like I'm just moving left and right, but I assure you, this is with just one button press. And those buttons are binded to Q and E, which actually overwrites the drop and open inventory buttons. But that's actually two things that I don't want people doing anyway, so I'm not complaining. It did mean that I needed to update camera switching because they require dropping items, but it was probably a necessary update anyway, and it brought them in line with the other gadgets.
Is that a Legion mine?
I think that's it.
Yo, how much is he added into this, bro?
House, we brought back
how many
maps,
operators is there?
Sledge actually works, and you can finally lean. What more could you ask for? Okay, well there is all of the CJX things.
Bro,
and
we don't
repelling.
need the. Oh my. Bro, we do not need the CJX shit, bro. We don't need a fucking shootable explosive pipes and shootable fire extinguishers, bro. You're making the original house, bro. Give it the original experience, bro. We don't give a damn about this.
And I should probably go back and update the maps too.
Visual enhancements, audio overhaul. I don't give a damn, bro.
But for now, yeah, I think we're done. Now, if you actually want to play this update for yourself, it'll be publicly released in about 2 weeks. But if you're a member of the channel, there is a pre-release available right now in the Discord server. And if you want to see the time the mod pack almost completely broke, you can check out this video here.
That is absolutely crazy. Absolute cinema, boys. Can we get a W video in the goddamn chat, bro? W video, bro. No, boys, 100%. I am going to figure out how this works, like how to play it, and see if it's possible for us to play it all together, bro. Because I'm 100% down to do community games in Minecraft Siege, bro. I think that would be absolutely fire.